Nope. Okay, all those in favor, please state aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next, we have our informational items. First is the PCAPS monthly report.
All right, so you have the report in front of you. I just wanted to call your attention to some of those numbers that are increasing. The calls for service for our officers in the field are increasing past what we did pre-COVID. So we're surpassing even what are more normal numbers. And animal intake is on the rise as well. However, I'm convinced that our intake diversion programs are working because those numbers have not surpassed what we used to do in a more normal world. So very exciting time. Happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, I noticed so just in April, you had about 500 more investigations than April of last year.
Yep.
How is everybody keeping up with that?
So far, so good. I'm a little worried, though, because spring leads to summer, and summer is typically even more busy. So we'll see how that goes.
Any inkling as to why?
Maybe people were holding back a little bit. We did a lot of investigative work over the phone and tried to avoid a lot of in-person contact during COVID. And we're back to more and more in-person work. So maybe with the increase there.
Okay. Does anybody have any other questions for Becky? Okay, thank you. Next, we have the workforce report.
All right. Thanks, Mr. Chairman. That's on page 7 in your packet. Format is the same as always. Blue bars represent activity in 2020. Orange bars represent the current year. You can see for the month of April, there were 17 positions posted this year versus 16 last year. As it relates to new hires, you can see that we were able to hire 15, get 15 folks started and positions filled. Just a note, as we say each month, hires in April don't necessarily represent positions that came open in April, because sometimes it takes more than a month to fill a position. Just a quick additional note as it relates to new hires, not across the entire organization, but in some very specific job classifications. We are starting to see some wage growth as a recruitment issue, or wage pressure as a recruitment issue. We'll be obviously following that more closely and trying to see if there's a trend, and we'll keep you abreast of that as best we can. Middle third of the page is the current ethnicity of the workforce, and bottom third of the page is separations for the month, and then cumulative for the course of the year. Happy to answer any questions or no risk management related report this month.
Any questions for Scott? Yes, Kate.
One of the things that I've heard in the media related to people choosing to go into the workforce if they've not been in the workforce the past year has to do with the level of income where they're at, and they said something about individuals who make $32,000 or below are choosing to stay home because the payments that they're getting are not worth going back to work. And I didn't know how many individuals in our own workforce or in the positions that you're maybe having trouble finding people, how many positions are in that range?
So I've seen similar reports. I've also seen media postings or reporting that actually has some, even I don't recall it off the top of my head at the moment, but some different factors for why folks are not getting back into the workforce. We've not done the analysis yet to see just exactly if that $33,000 threshold is a magic number for us or not. So I don't have that data readily available today, but it's something that we are going to continue to track, and we'll start to look at it and analyze.
Any other questions? Okay, we'll move along to our first resolution, which is a grant award from Petco Love. Could I get a motion to put this on the floor, please? Thank you, Junior. Could I get a second? Thank you, Linda. Okay, Becky.
All right, this was a grant that I solicited back in 2020 when we were discussing budget reductions on account of our medical supply budget. However, they didn't award it until late of 2021. So when they awarded it, they said you can use it for any life-saving efforts. So we're going to continue to put that into our medical budget. Excited for that. This was, when I applied for it, it was with Petco Foundation. They've since gone through a name change to Petco Love.
Great. Does anybody have any questions for Becky about this grant? You said it was, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, I appreciate the grant. Just the question is, do you have any capacity concerns with the increase of pets being, or animals being brought in? And then I assume this will potentially have you holding them longer, so any capacity concerns and how you would handle that?
At this time, no. Our capacity is down from what we were pre-COVID. So last year, during the bulk of the year, was COVID-related intake, I would say, and we were down about a third of our normal intake, which amounted to about 1,300 animals. This year, we're down, I would say, probably about 15% without looking. So we're not even back to where we were pre-COVID. So as far as intake numbers, I'm not concerned about that.
How far will $10,000 go with life-saving measures for animals?
Well, it just depends on where you put it, right? So I want to put this into our medical budget to be able to stockpile some of those tests that have some good long expiration dates on them, which would be the first thing that I would have to cut in a budget crisis event. So heartworm tests, feline leukemia, FIV tests, some of the longer lasting vaccinations, things like that. So that's what we would use this for moving forward. We have, off the top of my head, about a $35,000 annual medical supply budget. So this accounts for about a third of that.
Oh, great. Any other questions? Great job, Becky. All right, all those in favor of this, please state aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, thank you. Next, we have a resolution appropriating funds from a PO from last year that's rolled over for expenses for the IT service fund. Can I have a motion to put this on the floor, please? Thank you, Kate. In a second, Linda. And who's going to talk about this? Oh, hey, Randy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The reason I'm talking about this is a finance department whoops. This original PO was issued in 2017 for $326,870. This was for the planning and zoning software upgrade. The unspent balance was rolled in 2018, 2019, 2020. Mark came to me earlier this year in 2021 and said, what happened to my PO? I started looking into it and found out staff just accidentally deleted it or closed it out, and then in our system right now, once it's closed out, that PO's dead. So the unspent balance was the $137,346, so we created another purchase order for that remaining amount, and that's why I'm here to explain it. It's not an additional $137,000 for the project. That was the unspent balance at the end of 2020.
So this is something that's been rolled over a few times, it sounds like.
But once the PO's closed out, it's like gone. So we can't automatically do it like we do in the rollover appropriation. That's why it has to be a separate funding.
And the amount hasn't changed since
No,
the original?
No.
Any questions? Yes, Kate.
I guess why did the PO get closed? What was the
It was
accident? Okay.
it was just what else that we thought was done, and once it's clicked, it's no bringing it back from the dead.
Steve?
Randy, I don't know if you have this data, but so we approved this in 2017 for this expenditure with a budget. Does this match what we approved? I want to see actual expense versus budgeted expense.
Yeah, yes, this is what was left unspent. This was the $137,346 is the exact amount that was unspent of the original 327 or 326,870. I can get you a spreadsheet if you wish to document that.
No, that's fine. I was looking at, you had a contingency of $26,000, so anytime you put that in a original You know, you hope you don't have to spend it, you put that in there just in case. Assume that we're planning to use all of that contingency.
That would be a Mark question. I really don't know where they're, at exactly. I mean, I know the software is live now, so unless there's some issues, maybe they'll be able to save a little bit of this.
Okay.
Scott, do you happen to know?
I do not off the top of my head, Mr. Chairman, if we had to use the entire or any of the contingencies at all for this project.
We can bring that information forward later if you'd wish.
I mean, we can even put it in I'll just attach it to the update on Friday.
Okay, is that okay? Okay. Any other questions? Okay, all those in favor, please state aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, thank you. Next, I need a motion to go into executive session for the reason of personnel matters. Thank you, Junior. Thank you, Steve. All those in favor, please state aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, we're in executive session.